Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. In this video, we are taking a look at a detailed and easy to understand tour through four important aspects of Buddhism: how women entered Buddhist life, the great universities of Buddhism, the formation of Buddhist literature, and the evolution of Buddhist architecture. So let's have a look. So first up, the women in Buddhism. In the early days of Buddhism, the monastic community was only open to men. But later, women were given the opportunity to join as fully ordained monastics. The turning point came when the Buddha's disciple Ananda intervened, and the Buddha's foster mother Mahapajapati Gautami became the first woman to be ordained as bhikkhuni, female monk. The inclusion of women brought a strong new dimension to Buddhist practice and community life. Along with that, the Therigatha, a collection of verses composed by early nuns, bhikkhunis, give us an invaluable look into the spiritual lives and challenges. The fact that both men and women could practice it changed how the faith spread and how the Sangha monastic community functioned in society. Next, the great monastic universities of Buddhism. Across ancient India, Buddhism gave rise to highly organized institutions of learning. Some of the major ones include Nalanda in Bihar, founded under the Gupta ruler Kumargupta I; Vikramshila in Bihar, founded by Pala ruler Dharampala; Somapura in West Bengal, also under Dharampala; Jagadala in West Bengal, Pala ruler Ramapala; Odantapuri in Bihar, founded by Gopala of the Pala dynasty; and Vallabhi in Gujarat under Maitraka ruler Bhattarka. These centers weren't just religious, they taught theology, logic, metaphysics, grammar, and more. Vikramshila, for example, specialized even in tantric practices. These universities became hub of Buddhist scholarship, attracting students from across Asia and facilitating the spread of Buddhist thought, literature, and networks. Now let's move on to Buddhist literature. The term Pitaka literally means baskets because the earlier texts were written on palm leaves and stored in basket like containers. The earliest surviving Buddhist texts were in Pali language. Later, Sanskrit became dominant in India, and Mahayana sutras were composed in Sanskrit. The three main divisions, collectively called Tripitaka, are the Sutta Pitaka, an encyclopedia of Buddha's teaching and religious idea divided into five groups, Nikayas, and including works like Theragatha, Thengagatha, and Jataka tales of Buddha's previous lives. The Vinaya Pitaka rules for monastic community Sangha, including the Patimokkha Code, which lists 227 rules for monks and 311 for nuns. The Abhidhamma or Abhidharma Pitaka, philosophical analysis of Dhamma teachings, explore more aspects of doctrine. In addition to these, there are Sanskrit texts such as Mahavastu, Hinayana biography of the Buddha, Lalita Vistara, Mahayana biography, the epic poem Buddha Charita by Ashvagosha, and Pranja Paramita Sutra, critical to the Mahayana school. So the Buddhist literature developed from oral teachings to vast written corpus in multiple languages, offering not just doctrine and ethics, but stories, biographies, philosophical treatises, and commentaries. Finally, Buddha architecture, the physical expression of Buddhist belief in building, place of worship, learning, and meditation. There are several important structural types. The first one is chaityas, which are prayer halls often near monasteries used for communal worship. Then there are viharas, which are monasteries or residential places of monks. These started from the time of Buddha and became large complexes in later centuries. Then there are stupas, hemispherical mounds built to venerate relics of Buddha or important monks or nuns, and they often became pilgrimage sites. And then there's rock cut architecture, where Buddhist monasteries and temples were carved into rock along trade routes, providing lodging for monks and travelers. In art and sculpture, from around 2nd to 1st century BCE onwards, you can trace different regional styles. The Gandhara style with Hellenistic Greek influence, and the Mathura style with indigenous Indian features, the Amravati style of narrative sculpture, the Gupta style, which many regard as India's classical age of art, and the Pala style, which brought grace and elaborate ornamentation. These structures weren't just functional, they reflected Buddha's ideas of space, meditation, relic, veneration, and community. For example, in a stupa, the hemispherical mound symbolizes the dome of heaven, and the path of the pilgrim circling around it mimics the path of enlightenment. The monasteries and chaityas facilitated the life of monks and communities. The architecture made visible the spread and patronage of Buddhism by rulers, merchants, and lay followers. So, putting all this together, when you look at Buddhism evolution, you see how women's inclusion broadened the community and opened new spiritual paths, how universities institutionalized learning, doctrine, and international exchange, how literature codified and enriched Buddhist thought, and how architecture gave it physical shape in stone, brick, and rock. The movement from oral tradition to school and universities to texts and temples show how Buddhism adopted, spread, and rooted in diverse societies. If you're practicing or simply exploring Buddhism today, you can see traces of all these. Perhaps you see a temple, architecture, perhaps you read a sutra, literature, perhaps you hear about the role of women in Buddhism, maybe you attend or study an institute inspired by ancient Buddhist universities, and all these dimensions reflect that vibrant legacy. Thanks for joining me on this journey through these four major pillars of Buddhism: women, universities, literature, and architecture. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the future videos into the spiritual tradition and history. Leave your comments below. And would you like a video focused only on one of these, say Buddhist architecture across Asia, or walk through one of the ancient universities? Let us know. See you in the next video.